Good evening, welcome to Have I Got News For You? I'm Romesh Ranganathan. In the news this week, in Essex, after 20 years of touring with him, Rod Stewart finally releases his pet chicken into the wild. In Loughborough, after a young girl gets trapped inside a tumble dryer for over 3 hours, doctors keep a close eye for any after effects. And in Bournemouth, after his wife has a fall, a resourceful pensioner makes sure she has access to vital resources until help arrives. On Ian's team tonight is a poet and broadcaster who once said his tough upbringing, growing up in care in the 80s, made Margaret Thatcher his mother, which means he'd be one of the few kids who could get any milk out of her. Please welcome Lemn Sissay. And with Paul tonight is a comedian whose mother named her after her favourite fictional character in Little Women. I did the same with my kids. So if you're watching at home, Mr Bump, Hannibal Lecter and Optimus Prime, it's past your bedtime. Please welcome Joe Brand. We begin with the bigger news stories of the week. Ian and Lem, have a look at this.
Leader of the Labour Party there on the left. That's Hartlepool win. Cheers all round.
Boris Johnson saying yes to expenses.
That's how little they lost by. And that's everyone else getting the elbow. Goodbye, England. Yeah, these are the election results, which were extraordinary.
There were 8 local councils were lost by Labour.
And is that bad?
That's not good.
Can I just say, I thought the Labour Party did really well. I mean, they took Wales, didn't they? Pretty much right across the board.
Yes, they did.
So, well, that's 1 country out of 4.
Joe, can I just ask, are you deliberately trying to sugarcoat this, or is this what you genuinely think it was a good result? It was good.
I'm just lying because it seems to be the way to get ahead at the moment. Everyone else is doing that. You know, I think I'm kind of a very positive person.
Yeah, no, you're a glass half full kind of Labour person.
Yeah, because I've drunk most of it.
Yes, so this is the fallout from last week's elections. The BBC were worried that the local election results might be a bit boring, so they tried to put some pizzazz into it with their state-of-the-art technology.
It's going to send a real shiver down the spine of many Labour MPs. But, of course, we haven't got that result yet. But what we can do is start to look at exactly what is going on in the rest of the country, assuming this magic wall actually does work, which it isn't at the moment. Oh, here we go. Just getting used to it this morning, you know, it's very, very early doors. Here we go. So let's have a look at... let's just have a quick look at... Oh, it's not working.
Lewis, do you want the remote control, mate?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's very early. We're just getting used to each other, this screen and me, you know what I mean?
Don't worry, mate, nobody was watching. So, how did one Labour insider describe Labour's failure to connect with the voters of the North?
Brilliant.
A Labour insider described Labour's failure to connect with the voters of the North by saying, it's not only that we're not in the room, we don't even know where the room is. Labour's other problem was that the Tories had some really exciting policies. Here's the victorious candidate in Hartlepool.
What difference will people see? What will you do for Hartlepool now?
Oh, well, watch this space. I've got a lot of plans. I've got a great list of people I'm going to get back to and have a lot of roadmaps I'm going to make so that we can keep ticking things off.
Can you tell me any policies now?
Well, you'll have to wait and see. I've got a big list.
Oh, got so many policies. Oh, I've got so many of them.
Is there that much known about Jill Mortimer, her name is, isn't it?
Well, you know her name, which is good.
She's described as a trainee barrister. Is that true? Did they get it wrong? Is she actually a trainee barista, maybe?
Well, I mean, the public clearly didn't mind. We kept seeing videos of people saying, it's time for a change in Hartlepool. It's time for a change. I voted for a change. I voted Tory. And you thought, They've been in power for 11 years now. It's not a great change, is it?
How has Keir Starmer dealt with the fallout from the elections?
Very well.
This lying thing, you're awfully good at it.
I had a feeling you might say that, Joe. So, Keir Starmer said the day after the Hartlepool result, I take full responsibility, and then sacked Angela Rayner as chairman. They've still got, Angela Rayner and Keir Starmer, still got a close working relationship, though, because it seems like they're doing the next series of Broadchurch together. How do people see Keir Starmer, according to one insider?
He looks like Action Man after a few years when he stopped working. He does. He looks like Action Man. There he is.
That chiseled jaw.
Yeah, but he's Action Man 20 years after he was originally Action Man.
He's more sort of legal action man, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, an insider said of Keir Starmer is the perfect husband. You just wouldn't want to have sex with him.
That is the perfect husband.
How has Angela Rayner been compensated?
Usually, if you're in charge of a party, you say, you're fired. And someone says, oh, yeah. But in this case, she said, you're fired. And she said, no, I'm not. And then they spent a day in which they came up with a new job for her. So she's Shadow Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster.
You're exactly right, Ian. So in addition to being Deputy Leader, she's the Shadow First Secretary of State, the Shadow Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster, and Shadow Secretary of State for the Future of Work. So many shadows, she could support Cliff Richard on tour. Who are people comparing Keir Starmer to?
Napoleon.
No, not quite that far.
OK.
Sooty.
It is Sooty. No, it's not Sooty.
Queen Victoria.
No.
What's the initials?
As soon as I give you the initials,
Yeah.
I think you might have an idea. IDS.
Oh, Ian Duncan Smith.
Yes.
Right.
I thought that was a sexual disease. Sorry, I was thinking of irritable bowel syndrome.
IBS.
IBS.
Yeah.
That's the one I was thinking.
In which case, the comparison's pretty rude, isn't it?
Yes, it is. One's a pain in the arse and the other one's...
Founder of Universal Credit.
Yes.
They are comparing Keir Starmer to Ian Duncan Smith.
Who are these they?
Jane Fonda, Albert Tatlock, they've all been comparing him.
Fair enough.
I mean, I don't know if you think that's a massive insult to compare him to Ian Duncan Smith, but he is definitely getting it in the neck. A local Hartlepool man, Liam Westmoreland, told The Guardian, there's beer mats with more personality than Keir Starmer. What did Keir do next?
The reshuffle?
Yes, he had a reshuffle where some people you didn't know lost jobs you didn't know they had, while some other people you hadn't heard of stayed exactly where you didn't know they were. I'm afraid Annalise Dodds has gone. There's no point complaining about it.
He's actually taken the chairs on the Titanic and moved them about, but there's no Titanic and there's no chairs. There's just a group of people changing places with each other and then saying, you're this and I'm that. I'm this now, and I'm going to do that, and they won't do it.
It feels like you lack a little bit of faith in the process.
I mean, it was all just a mess, and people who said, you know, Starmer's incompetent and has got no judgment, well, the test was, could he reshuffle, as you said, the chairs on the Titanic? And what he did was throw them overboard and jump into the iceberg.
He also did a round of interviews and told the BBC, I will change things that need changing, and that is the change I will bring about. Change number one, fire speechwriter. Why might Labour headquarters be moving to Newcastle?
Make it less metrocentric, get it away from the perception of it being a London-led party.
Yeah, actually, that's pretty close. It's been suggested that they should literally get close to their core voters by moving there. A lot of Londoners would find that a bit scary. They'd be worried about getting signal on their iPads. Lemn, that was a horrendous noise. You weren't a fan of that at all.
No, it's one of the advantages of not having a live audience. We don't have to fight our way through the booing.
Thank you. Thank you for your support, guys.
Yeah, it's all right.
I'm feeling very loved. Who's in a stronger position after last week's results?
Are you talking about Scotland?
Yes.
Yes. They didn't get a majority, the SNP, but they did win again for the fourth time.
Yes.
So Nicola Sturgeon is back, and she said independence wasn't, you know, a priority, but now it is.
Exactly right. Nicola Sturgeon claims to be in a better position to engineer another independence referendum. How has Boris Johnson tried to outmanoeuvre her on this?
He said, we're not going to have one. No, he's called a summit of all the nations of the UK to discuss how we could best get along together.
Yeah, he has called for a summit on post-COVID regeneration involving all 4 nations. You get the feeling that Sturgeon can just keep leveraging this for investment in infrastructure, don't you? Just sort of give it 5 years and Dumfries will look like Singapore. Nicola Sturgeon said in a speech, this treats Scottish voters as a sideshow. But anyway, on to the main news. Something else happened this week. What was it?
In Italy, they introduced their first 24-hour pizza machine. You put your money in and a pizza comes out.
Has it got a big slot?
Oh, matron, yeah. I think it has quite a big slot, Ian, yes.
It's not the pizza vending machine, though, although I'm much more excited about that.
Is it a man in Stockport who gave himself a hernia by lifting a Labrador above his head 20 times?
No, but did that happen?
Yeah.
Did that happen?
No.
Oh. The thing I'm looking for is the Queen's speech.
Oh, yeah, the Queen
She knows where it is because she read it out.
What was the most controversial thing about it?
She dressed down.
She sang it?
She didn't appear in ceremonial robes. She was wearing tracksuit bottoms and a hoodie.
Was it that health and social care was only mentioned for 8 seconds?
Yes, there was no social care bill on the grounds that it's just too hard.
But they did do the bill about cats being microchipped.
Well, yeah. Why the cats? Was that a Carrie influence?
Sexist.
No, I'm not saying it because I'm sexist, but I'm just saying it because I think she's been mooted as possibly the one that gives a shit about animals.
Yeah, quite.
Yeah.
That should be a campaign slogan for the World Wildlife Fund. You give a shit about we do. Look at the size of this bugger. There's only 10 of them left. Send us your money. We give a shit, do you?
So this is the latest political earthquake that, having voted 70% in favour of Brexit, the people of Hartlepool decided they wanted a Tory MP. Keir Starmer said he took full responsibility for the defeats and promptly sacked Angela Rayner. And I'd like to take full responsibility for tonight's jokes, but let's just say a few writers won't be back for Series 62. Following the strong performance by the SNP, Robert Peston claimed Boris can't deny Scotland a referendum without taking the UK to a very dark place. But surely that is Scotland. Paul and Joe, take a look at this.
Hugging.
People launching themselves at
Yes, travelling. You can go to Margate. There's Margate. Holidays. Hugging. All these things are going to happen, providing there's no setbacks.
Yes, this is the devastating news that we've reached stage 3 of the COVID recovery roadmap, which means that from Monday, people will be able to hug us again. As if things haven't been bad enough. I mean, my mum has asked if she can come round my house at 11:59. She'll be queuing outside my house like I'm launching the iPhone 12. What were Boris Johnson's personal thoughts about having close contact with someone on Monday?
This is a family show.
Yeah. It's hug away.
He actually said that hugging would be a personal choice. Let's have a look.
Whoever I hug, I can assure you it will be done with caution and restraint. I'm not going to act it out now.
I like the idea that Michael Gove announced this first, and the idea of Gove hugging you with a knife in one hand. Just...
I think there's quite a lot of people not really looking forward to the hugging thing who've been rather enjoyed not having to.
Have you enjoyed not having to?
Yes, I have. I'm getting a taser now. I tell you who I am going to hug.
Yeah.
A hoodie. Because I've always thought that was a jolly good bit of advice. I don't really know what it means, but, you know, I'm going to...
That was David Cameron's idea.
It was, wasn't it?
I mean, but it's just alliteration, isn't it? Hug a hoodie, kiss a killer, grape a German. You know, it's...
They're all policy now.
Yeah.
OK.
Yeah.
Who's up for a quick game of good news, bad news?
Robert Redford.
No, that's not...
Oh, that's not a question.
No, it's not a question, it's...
OK.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, we are.
OK, so this is how it's going to work. In good news from Monday, the ban is lifted on overseas holidays. But in bad news, travel is only being encouraged to one of 12 green list countries. So we're going to pick a few holiday destinations from the government's Green for Go list. So it's good news for Australia, New Zealand and Singapore. But what's the bad news?
They don't want us in.
Without being quarantined.
Ian, you're absolutely right.
Oh.
Although you are legally able to travel to Australia, New Zealand and Singapore, they remain closed to foreign visitors.
So what do you do, circle Sydney Airport and come back?
Come home again, say, fantastic holiday.
In good news, you can legally go on holiday to South Georgia. But what's the bad news?
It's in the Falkland Islands, long way away. There's no flight there.
You're absolutely right. It takes 3 days to get to South Georgia and it costs £5,000. According to Daniel Hammond in The Sun, you have to take an RAF flight to the Falkland Islands and then charter a boat for the last 900 miles. What have visitors to this castle in Transylvania been offered?
Their own weight and paperbacks?
No.
No.
Romania's government has turned major venues into vaccination centres, including Dracula's Castle, Transylvania. Government health officials are yet to determine whether giving out jabs at Dracula's Castle has boosted local vaccination numbers, as everyone in the village pub goes quiet as soon as a stranger asks about the count. Medical workers, who I suspect from those fangs on their scrubs may actually be staff from the gift shop and cafeteria, are offering free shots of the Pfizer vaccine, and you also get free entry to the castle's exhibit of 52 medieval torture tools. Meanwhile, over in Uzbekistan, there's some confusion about what to do with your hands when listening to your country's national anthem. What do you think they should do?
Is it jazz hands?
Nobody went for jazz hands. Nobody got that desperate.
Wave, that wouldn't seem right, would it?
Put your hand over your heart. A lot of people in America do that,
that's a
don't
good
they?
one.
Salute.
Basically, they couldn't figure out which to go for. Have a look at this.
That's wonderful.
While in the town of Torgau in Germany, they unveiled a 2-metre-tall wooden statue to lift the spirits of locals during the pandemic. Does anybody know what the statue was of?
A burger.
No, it is food, though.
Asparagus.
It is asparagus.
Oh, my God.
Well, there we are.
You are absolutely right. It paid tribute to local crop asparagus. Locals are being encouraged to stay firm, and this would surely have inspired them to do just that.
Yes.
Asparagus.
Yeah. They're calling that asparagus, are they?
Wait, is that the asparagus?
Yes,
I thought we were on to the next.
No. I didn't just
That's
randomly
not. That's a knob. That is not an asparagus.
Yeah. Nothing gets past you, then.
Yeah.
Welcome to
Eagle on our side.
Yeah, it is quite penisy, yeah.
Yeah, very, very. With the scaffolding.
Yes.
Well,
which is how I have mine, actually.
Yeah.
Yes. Every man's dream. Scaffolding.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if that's
penis.
my dream. I don't want a knothole halfway down it. I wonder who on earth got that job to carve that great big wooden knob. There we are. They built it somewhere near the palace. Look at the size of that wooden phallus.
OK, time now for round 2, the sledgehammer of news. Fingers on buzzers, teams.
Okay. Yeah. Oh. That's Nigella Lawson, isn't it?
It was...
Go on.
Go on.
No.
You go.
we could do it together. It was 40 cloves and
garlic
and
chicken.
Can I
So
just...
she came up with a recipe
Yeah.
that had... Well, it was a chicken dish with 40 cloves of garlic.
Yes.
And the name of the dish?
I don't
Chicken halitosis.
Yeah, this is...
One of the less successful Walt Disney characters.
She shared a chicken recipe on her Instagram account, which includes 40 cloves of garlic. I mean, it's fine to have breath like that if you look like Nigella. Why don't you try that when you've got a lazy eye and Richard Ayoade stunt hair? In our regular update on Gwyneth Paltrow, what's she gone and done now?
Didn't she get depressed because she ate some bread?
That's exactly right. So this is what she said. In an interview with the Sunday Mirror, Gwyneth revealed that during lockdown, her eating habits changed, leading to a terrible low point. She said, "I was making pasta and eating bread. I went totally off the rails." And it's a bit depressing when Gwyneth Paltrow's off the rails is your Romesh, you've done really well this week. Did anyone else go off the rails in lockdown? What's the worst thing you did, Joe?
I started smoking again.
Right.
Started drinking again.
Yeah.
started having affairs with sailors again. And
They're a good source of fags and booze, sailors. They're getting duty-free. No, you're no mug.
Really?
You're no mug. Hanging around Portsmouth with showing your ankles. I know what you like.
you know what,
I'll show you a good time for a couple of coupons.
Anyway, I like sailors. All the nice girls
They like
do.
you.
Paul, what about you?
Submariners.
Submariners?
Submariners.
Yeah?
Go down every Friday night.
And finally, who would like to see a handbag that looks like a whole chicken?
Yeah!
Yes.
Yes,
of course
please.
Designer Romy Cooperus creates custom-made handbags, including this tasty-looking number.
That's just ridiculous. If you went into a supermarket with that, you get arrested for shoplifting if you kind of walk out with that.
Who wants to see some more of a delicious-looking handbag?
Yes, please.
I know you do. Let's have a look. There you go, it's Frankfurters.
Is that John Barrowman's handbag?
We've got another one.
Of course. That looks lovely.
So, Nigella Lawson has divided opinion with a recipe for chicken with 40 cloves of garlic. You think that sounds bad? I'm a vegan, so when I go round to her place, I'll just be getting the 40 cloves of garlic. Gwyneth Paltrow has revealed her struggles in lockdown. The Sunday Times described Gwyneth as a peddler of vagina accessories. Still, a less embarrassing description than that actress who was in Sliding Doors. Time now for the odd one out round. Just one between you this week. Stanley Johnson, Wallace of Wallace and Gromit, the Spanish police in Andalusia, and the mayor of Antwerp, Bart de Wever.
Well, I suppose one of the things we know about Wallace is he's an inventor. Is that in the right sort of line? Is it about inventions?
Is it trousers? Is it about losing your trousers?
Because that's the wrong trousers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys.
Is it not?
It is.
It is?
It is.
Wallace is the odd one out.
So the answer is Wallace is the odd one out.
Yeah.
And the reason is that they've all suffered, Ian, from a lack of trousers, apart from Wallace and Gromit, who had the wrong trousers.
Oh, brilliant. So I was nearly right.
Yes. So Wallace of Wallace and Gromit fame famously invents a pair of automated trousers in the film The Wrong Trousers. Spanish police in El Puerto de Santa Maria, Andalusia, have gone on strike to protest against a shortage of trousers within the force. They haven't actually received any new service trousers since 2016.
Blimey.
So their old worn-out ones haven't been replaced, and high-temperature washing, because of the pandemic, has caused the trousers to deteriorate even further. After waiting patiently for bosses to supply replacements, cracks are beginning to show. How did Stanley Johnson once find himself missing his trousers?
Was he climbing out of a bedroom window?
No. What happened was, during a training exercise to become an MI6 agent, Stanley crumbled...
Stanley Johnson?
Yeah. Stanley crumbled and blew his cover when they took his trousers away during an interrogation. Stanley said, if they hadn't taken my trousers away, I might have toughed it out. But frankly, when you've been hours in a police cell in the north of England in just underpants, shirt and socks, you look for a way out. It might not be Abu Ghraib, but it was certainly alarming.
What's the north of it? Why the north of England? Why is that an important part of the story?
I don't know why he chose to add that detail.
Yeah, I mean, if he'd been in Epsom, I could have lasted weeks in Epsom. Leatherhead, no trouble. Barnsley, oh, whatever you want, whatever you want.
What led to Stanley's capture during the training exercise?
He was thick.
Well, he was actually, in his own words, distracted by an alluring blonde who offered him a lift, causing him to forget his cover and tell her, my name's Stanley. No, it isn't actually, it's Bunwell. Jeremy Bunwell. I mean Buncroft. What was the mayor of Antwerp, Bart de Wever, caught doing without his trousers?
Cycling.
Was it one of those Zoom no-trouser things?
Ah, yes, he was on a...
He was on a Zoom call and he didn't have any trousers
Ian,
on.
you are in a real purple patch, because you're absolutely correct. He did an interview via video call with a radio station, but failed to realise a mirror behind him gave away the fact he was in fact in his underwear. But to be fair to him, we've all done it, haven't we? Bart's not the only politician to have been caught out on a video call. What was Ohio State Senator Andrew Brenner caught doing this week?
Oh, yes, this was great. He was attending a meeting and he was driving his car at the same time and then realised that would be a bad idea. So he I don't know how the technology works, but he sort of changed the background of being in his car to his office, but he still had his seatbelt on. And he was still checking for, crossing over roads and stuff.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, as he was wearing his seatbelt. in the meeting, said they could see him looking left and right and in his mirrors and kept shouting, "It's green! Move, you wanker!" They've all suffered from a lack of trousers, apart from Wallace, who had the wrong trousers. Stanley Johnson tells of losing his trousers in his autobiography, Stanley, I Presume, a title inspired by his publisher, who said, "Stanley, I presume this is the first draft, because this is absolute shit."
Well, that's blunt, then.
Sounds like Faber and Faber to me.
All those London publishers, that's very much the register.
Yeah. Depends which Faber you get, because one of them's quite nicely spoken. The other one, you'll get that sort of stuff.
The makers of the Wallace and Gromit films, Aardman Animation, are now preparing for their next big challenge, animating Jimmy Carr's face. During a live radio interview, you could clearly see that a mayor in Belgium was wearing no trousers. And if you squinted hard enough, you could see Brussels. Time now for the Missing Words round, which this week features its guest publication, Face to Face, the official newsletter of the Salisbury Diocesan Guild of Bell Ringers. Sadly, in recent times, many bells have fallen silent, especially the one on Noel Clarke's phone. And we start with, everyone learning to bell ring knows that what is essential?
An A&E reasonably close by. I did actually used to be a bell ringer.
Did you?
I did. It's very dangerous.
Is it?
Yeah.
If it helps, the one time I did it, I ended up being pulled off in the belfry.
It's actually, everyone learning to bell ring knows that rope time is essential. Here's a group of bell ringers with some members looking a bit miserable. Why the long arms? Next, woman in Cornwall accidentally orders 12 tons of what?
Pasties.
Asparagus.
No. Woman in Cornwall accidentally orders 12 tons of compost. According to The Sun, everyone in the area has found it hugely entertaining, and the giant compost heap has become a local attraction. Here it is.
Oh, I'd get on a coach to go and see that.
I mean, it's a good job she was in, or the delivery bloke would have had to leave it next door. And finally, Diana Rigg's computer password revealed to be what?
A secret?
Knob.
No, but it is rude.
Cocksucker.
No.
Arsehole.
No.
Wanker.
No.
Labia.
That sounds like a really bad firm of solicitors.
I'm sure I had a letter from them the other day.
Some of them work with Faber and Faber.
Fuck off.
Correct.
Oh.
Diana Rigg's computer password revealed to be fuck off. So, the final scores are Ian and Lem, you have 5, and Paul and Joe, you have 7.
Oh, no, we lost it at the end.
Well, you got one right.
And I leave you with news that there's a surprise for one couple appearing on TV show Storage Wars who accidentally win custody of Peter Purvis. In St Andrews, there's evidence of the enduring popularity of an 80s hit as someone blasts the Birdie song over the tannoy. And in London, as Vladimir Putin picks up the bowling ball, the World Human Skittles contest kicks off in earnest. Good night.
Well, there's more from Romesh, his lovely mum, and his BAFTA-nominated Ranganathan. That's on BBC iPlayer now. Next tonight, Alan's on the champagne cocktails with a little bit of egg. I'm sure he'll be fine with that. This time in just a moment.